Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. So with the big news that we got yesterday, it's basically necessary for us to follow up on the expansion details for the upcoming year. This is kind of like a speculation video, but it's hopefully a little bit more than that. Hopefully we actually, kind of land on something that's actually correct because, well, they did mention explicitly that we will be seeing a theme between all of the expansions in the upcoming year. They'll be somehow connected. They won't be fairly isolated, and it should make the guessing game a little bit easier, and it's more compelling to try to figure out what they might be. So before we get into that, I wanted to talk about the previous expansions and the previous step that we're in where we have like the new year or whatever, and we get to kind of, speculate on what the expansions would be. So in the past, last year, when the Year of the Raven was introduced, so this is the screenshot here, it is before we knew what the first expansion of the Year of the Raven would be. We ended up knowing that it was the Witchwood. So we see, does that first expansion little bubble represent the Witchwood? Yeah, kind of. The blue is kind of like the magic, and then we have the vines and stuff. Yeah, but that was the expansion that was announced like weeks or a month later after we saw the introduction of the Year of the Raven. So we'd expect it to be pretty accurate. The second expansion we see, and we guessed that it would be kind of like a Netherstorm theme, and it ended up being the Boomsday Project. And the Boomsday is kind of in the Netherstorm area. They're pretty close. They do have this purpley portal thingamajig. So it wasn't too far off. But, if we look at the expansion 2 screenshot, it doesn't really scream Boomsday. So I think they were kind of still working on the themes of that expansion when they announced the Year of the Raven. And expansion 3 ended up being Rastakan's Rumble. And if we look at the expansion 3 on that thing, it basically looks absolutely nothing like Rastakan's Rumble. So they probably hadn't even started working on that expansion yet. Maybe they just had a few ideas down. They probably pivoted those ideas a few times, basically away from whatever that's supposed to be. But more importantly, one thing I kind of took note of is the Year of the Raven actually kind of had, a decent number of ravens in it. So, the expansion 1, we had, the Witchwood. There was like ravens and stuff all over the place, right? So kind of. It's a bit of a stretch, on the second and third one, but it started off with Raven, all right? And if we think back to the Mammoth year, which was the year before the Year of the Raven, it started off with Ungoro, which, had like big mammothy things, dinosaurs and stuff. And then Wrath Lich King expansion, not quite Wrath Lich King, but the Frozen Throne did have, it actually had a mammoth in it, right? And Kobolds and Catacombs, maybe not so much. But, it seems like the themes for the years have something to do with the expansions themselves. And if all those expansions are going to be interconnected and we are in the Year of the Dragon, perhaps that is the biggest clue of them all. So what do we really get from yesterday's announcement? We got this screenshot. It is the Year of the Dragon. And I kind of speculated originally in yesterday's video, which I hope you guys have seen. If you haven't, make sure to check that out. The first one kind of just feels like a Dalaran theme to me. It's got the whole, arcane magic type of feel. It's purple. That's like the Kirin Tor guys. That's their jam. All right. That's what they do. That's what they represent. So, it feels very Dalaran Kirin Tori to me. The second one was a bit of a tough one for me. I saw some speculations of Ulduar, because this kind of got like accurately themed color, and I can kind of see that. And the third one to me kind of screamed maybe Deathwing, certainly some kind of like destruction, some kind of dragons. The golden middle is more of like a Dragons of Caverns of Time, perhaps, because they do have that golden color. So that one actually kind of feels like it is within the Year of the Dragon, more so than the rest, in fact. And basically, I scanned through the different predictions on the interwebs, and the basically top post on Reddit has a good summary of what most people think, and that is that the first one has to do with Kirin Tor / Dalaran. Okay, that's basically what I said. I have a very similar feeling. I basically had that feeling before I saw this post. The second one is Nazjatar and Pandaria. That feels kind of loose to me, but I also understand that, Ulduar is also a little bit loose. The second expansion, I think, is the most confusing one. It kind of throws most people off for a spin. And the third one, Iron Horde, yeah, maybe. And then Bronze Dragonflight. So that is, that has something to do with Nosdormu and like the time thing. So I think the third expansion and the first expansion we can kind of agree on. It's a second expansion that's very difficult to predict. But more importantly than that, what we saw from the past 2 year announcements, the first expansion had pretty good relevance with what the year was about. With the first year being this year being Year of the Dragon, well, there's not a whole lot of dragons in Dalaran and Kirin Tor. In fact, I kind of looked into it, and the most likely candidate for a dragon being associated with the Kirin Tor is Kalecgos. Kalecgos is like the guy after Malygos. So Malygos was defeated. He was like the dragon of magic, and Kalecgos became the new dragon of magic for a while. That's basically it. And Kalecgos, we get to experience him in World of Warcraft in Sunwell. Very, very interesting boss, to say the least. Certainly killed a lot of guilds. And Kalecgos himself is actually a mage from the Kirin Tor. So another notion that I've seen is that expansions from Hearthstone in general, they take their roots from the Warcraft universe, but they kind of warp it in some way. They make it into something else. They take maybe like a character or maybe a theme, and they expand from that. So I don't think it's really fair to say that this expansion will have everything themed around Dalaran. It's just not going to be the case. Most likely, I think it will have kind of like a character that it would spin off of. And, from my research, I feel there's a good chance of that character being Kalecgos, because he was part of the Kirin Tor. He is a dragon in the Year of the Dragon, and I think we can all agree we have a strong impression of Expansion 3 resembling kind of like, the Dragons of Time, Nosdormu, Bronze Dragonflight. So, maybe that's what it is. Maybe the first expansion has quite a bit to do with dragons, kind of from a spin-off of Kalecgos. Maybe the third expansion kind of seals the deal with the Caverns of Time stuff. And with those kind of squishing the middle one, what could the middle one be? Maybe they make a spin-off from Ulduar. We had Dalaran, we had the Bronze Dragonflight, we had that kind of stuff in the Wrath Lich King expansion in World of Warcraft. It's there. It's in Northrend. Maybe the second expansion doesn't have that much to do with dragons, but somehow ties into the stories of the other two in a way that it makes sense. Maybe they're part of Northrend. Maybe they're kind of interconnected somehow. That's the best we got. I also want to mention that I did not quite make it to the semi-exclusive secret meeting at Blizzard headquarters earlier this week as we were snowed in. So this information is as speculative as you have it. I don't have any kind of insider knowledge of any kind of at the time of making of this video, so it's not like I'm spilling the beans. I have no beans to spill, but it seems like a lot of the community is agreeing on many of the concepts here, and hopefully I've tied it together for you guys to understand it a little bit better. And of course, I wish you guys propagate some more theories. Let me know what you think. It's going to be the Mystery Second expansion, or perhaps you have a new radical theory on the first or the third. Let me know. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you guys are hyped as I am for the upcoming content. And we'll see you guys in the next one.